Hi everyone, my name is Akuna, AKUNNA, and you are welcome to the podcast. That moment when. Just in case you're still waiting for the title, that's the title, That Moment When. This is a podcast where we bring to you real life issues, crude, untouched, unrefined, and they'll be explained to you by real life people using their own real life experiences. And on today's segment, we'll be discussing that moment when I made that move, you made that move, we made that move. It's just all about movement, guys, today. And the studio is so hot. Like hot, because we have the hottest, the finest, the freshest of men, masculine, right here in the studio. I have two amazing people. If there will be any set of persons to discuss today's topic, it's going to be these guys. But I will allow them introduce themselves. So, ta-da! So tell us, just introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is NONZO BASSEY. I'm a singer, NONZO with a Z.
We know you.
I'm a singer, songwriter, actor, and a producer, and I'm glad to be here on That Moment When.
And just right beside him, hey! We love it. Please, can you just tell us?
All right, my name is TOCHI ERNEST. I'm a production manager and event coordinator.
Wow, you've heard it, guys. We have the most amazing guys in the studio. Well, since they are telling you all what they do. My name is Akuna, lawyer. As I'm saying, you be cheering me. Lawyer, singer, songwriter, entertainer, TV girl. She's a whole lot of things, guys. But again, you're welcome to the podcast, That Moment When. We're not going to waste your time. We're just going to dive right into it. It's all about movement. So I'm just going to give these guys just a little time to explain to you their own definition or definitions of movement.
Okay.
Relocation.
So relocation for me, like you said, is movement from one place to another. Spiritually, physically, financially, career-wise, as a nation, just movement from one place to another.
Okay, love it. Ernest, do you agree?
Trust me, 100%. And it's not just physical, just like he said. It could be a mindset shift. It could be financial shift. It could be a move from high to low, from low to high. It's pretty much stages in your life. Where you move from one point to another. So, yeah.
Amazing. Now, what I love the most about their definitions is they have helped us break this episode into segments, because they've defined relocation as physical movements, emotional movements, moving from one point to another, which makes it easy for us to elaborate, like just make it wide on this topic. So I'm just going to ask, at what point did you know I want to move? Now, this is physical. Yeah, like at what point? Okay, first of all, let me ask, did you ever make any, bold decision? Have you moved from one place, like major relocation?
Many times. The first one for me was when I decided I was going to move from Calabar, where I grew up, where I was born, to Lagos, because I knew that for the life I want to live, as an entertainer, the opportunities I was looking for were not there. So I knew that at some point I'm going to have to leave the nest. And so once I was done with university, that was it.
Wow. How about you?
Well, it's not always easy leaving your comfort zone.
Nope.
To somewhere you don't even know. And then at the end of the day, you still have to move again. It conditions your mind in a type of way. So you need to be ready at all times to move. You get, so you don't really place it in your heart that, I can stay here for a very long time, which is also a plus and a minus at the same time. So as a child, I bounced around a lot. Yeah, I bounced around. When I bounced around from age 5, I was already living with relatives, bouncing back and forth, Lagos, Bayelsa, Port Harcourt, Abia State, then back down to Lagos finally. So it's just always a mindset thing. It sets your mind a certain way. Right. But it's could be for the best, you know.
I couldn't agree more because personally, I have, my own story as well as to why and how I decided to move. My dad was moved to Abia State. At some point, we were like not forced, but I missed him. We missed him, and we decided to join him. And then in the process, I did secondary school, uni. And then at that point, there's a routine that happens. I mean, you're not from the East, but you're around there. You stayed around. Calabar is still around where we are. And you can figure out that there's a certain mentality, around that place. A lot of people, not all, don't want more. They don't crave more. So I could see that, staying there wasn't just going to work for me. I mean, I wouldn't be on this podcast if I stayed there. So at that point, I knew that I needed to leave because I just really, really wanted more. So we've just established that the biggest reason, or one of the reasons people make physical relocations, is because they just want more from life.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's why you all made your decisions, but from us here, we're just saying that's basically why we did that. So quick one before we go to the next topic. You've established that you moved from Calabar to Lagos. You've established you did some movements. And so 100 million naira, 200 million naira. You're not moved. 500 million naira.
For what? You've not said what for.
To go back to Calabar. Like, to go back there, and you'll be giving 500. That's 500 million naira. To go back.
And never leave
You
Calabar.
cannot step foot out of Calabar. And 20 million naira to stay back in Lagos. 500 million naira.
500 million naira.
No, so you will be a chief and marry like 10 wives.
And be a local champion. No.
Like.
No. If you ask me this when I'm 50,
Yeah.
You
might want to relocate and just retire there.
Like I've seen the world, I've done it all. Like, okay, I could see myself just partying for the rest of my days. I want to be a sugar daddy. So it's like aspiration money. So, but now, not now. That would just be a waste of my time.
So let it be known, ladies and gentlemen, that NONZO refused 500 million naira for 20 million naira to stay back in traffic, in stress,
Well, it's
in
our
Lagos. How about you, Ernest?
I'm a bit of a traveler, so it will be very, very hard to confine me to a space.
Yeah.
Basically, so my spirit will not even take it. In as much as 500 million is enough to create my world wherever, but then the world is so
Is it though?
vast.
Is
You
it
get?
though?
So even if I end up using the whole 5 million to create whatever I want to create and probably bring tourism to
There will
me,
still not be lights to
see,
power this.
trust me,
this world.
it will still be one thing or the other.
They remove
Honestly,
subsidy
Like,
now.
the world is too beautiful to be stuck in one place.
Honestly, if I'm asked, I'll tell them that they should borrow me 10 million from the 500 million. Let me go and visit a seer. Then I'll ask the person that if I decide to stay in Lagos with 20 million naira, what's my future? Will I make it? If they say no, you will not make it, then I will stay back and take 500 million. I'm just kidding. Lagos is the zone. I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for back there.
You changed the rules on us because you didn't say that we could do this thing that you did.
Is it your question?
Well,
Is it you that
she
asked
chose
the
to go
question?
see a seer,
All right, guys. So that is established. I just did that to know where your mind is at.
Right.
And for that to buttress the next thing or make room for the next thing that I want to ask. So the next thing I want to ask is, after you decided to make that move, the next step was to actually make the move.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask because I know that I experienced a lot of downsides. What were the challenges, honestly, that you faced when you made that final move? For you, you made the final move of deciding to stay back in Lagos after all the plenty movements. You also decided, you've been here, your face is, we know you've been here in Lagos.
Hello.
So I'm just going to ask, in the course of that movement, honestly speaking, it's real life talk on that moment when.
Right.
So what were the obstacles that you faced?
Am I going first?
Yes.
Well, for me, I moved here with, big eyes and a dream and a one-way ticket. And you just want to do the thing that you love to do. I think that everybody has told you, oh, you're good at this, oh, you should do this.
Yeah, you
and
should explore
this
this.
is really what I want to do. But they don't, nothing prepares you for the downsides, the rejections, the blood, sweat, and tears. And the rejection keeps coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. And sometimes it makes you feel like, am I really good? Am I really good at this? So it forces you to develop character. And then it changes your relationships. A lot of the people that you grew up with, you know, your lives just go in different directions. You become strangers. Some people you stay friends with, you meet new people. Some people die, you know. So it's just, life just has a way of just hitting you. And I feel as painful as that can sound, what it does is it builds your character. Because the person you are now is not the person you need to be where you want to go.
True.
And so it's like the process of purifying gold or silver. You have to throw it in the fire till all the things that it doesn't need evaporate, and then it's ready. So that's the way
Amazing. You're still running away from. I want to hear. No, so I want to hear that you slept under the bridge. I want to hear that. You know, they pickpocket. You were running. They collected your money.
I have experienced all sorts of things. I've been robbed at gunpoint. I have been arrested. Well,
you've been arrested.
Arrested, more like kidnapped.
Should he be on this show?
No. By his house.
No, okay. Yes,
4 times.
I panicked. Wow. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And
during that time.
You know, for no reason.
Yeah, during that
you know,
time.
beaten.
Yeah. We know. Of course, we all know.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
I have been. You know, there's a lot of stuff like they don't teach you about. You know, like industry.
And all of this, it didn't make you question that relocation.
It makes you question your faith. It makes you question yourself. It makes you question who you are as a person.
Your decision.
Did
I make the right
decision? I did
decision?
for my friends, like who do I even trust? Because when you're down in the dirt, that is time for solitude. And when you're in the moment, you don't know that it's good for you.
Yeah.
It's like, anyway, yeah. I can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
But I'm very thankful.
Do you want to tell us?
Well, mine was more emotional because certain things happened. I began to lose certain relationship I had with people. People I'd known for close to 10 years, people I'd known for 7 years, you know. Making that decision. And then some of them were, as I started my journey in the industry, right? I do more of behind the scene. I don't always like to be seen.
Camera.
You know, I don't always like the camera.
But you look good.
Oh, thank you very much. You look good as well. You know, so I started having things started, you know, going here and there, you know, and then mom, dad, you know, so it just moved you away. I had to stay with my sister at the time, you know, and then, you know, when you're living with someone, there are certain boundaries, you know, there are rules and regulations, you know, you can't do, or you can't how do I put it, you can't break whatever law they set, because you are, at the time, you are under them.
Of course.
You get, so a couple of these things were limiting, but then again, I just saw it as a learning curve for me, you know. Do what you have to do now, keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing, and then it happened.
Yeah.
Right? At the long run, you know, they don't really prepare you for all of these things in the university. They don't prepare you for all of these things, you know. Life will always happen.
Yeah.
Right? All you need to do is, when it happens, pick yourself back up and then stand.
So guys, you've heard it. Relocation is not always, it doesn't taste as good as people always project it to be. It has its downsides. For me, I feel like we don't emphasize on the fact that accommodation is a major downside when it comes to relocation, especially physically. I'm going to say it because I was excited to move. When I heard that it was okay for me to move, I said, yes, I'm going to Lagos, the center of excellence. Immediately I get there, I'm going to be a jagaban. I'm going to be this one. But I came, and it was like a day or two, like before I was to come, that it dawned on me that, dude, where are you going to stay? At first, I could stay in law school because there's accommodation. But then after graduation, where am I going to stay? What are you going to do? Yeah. That's one. Then nobody prepares you also for how quickly family can turn on you. I'm saying personal experiences because you also say, I have an aunt, I have an uncle that is staying in Lagos. Dude, if you know what I passed through when I came to Lagos, you know that I'm here like this. I had given up on staying in Lagos as of 2021 February. I had made up my mind that at that point I was going back to Abia State to live like a princess. That's what I kept telling myself, because Lagos was totally draining me. I was working, I had a 9 to 5, but I was being assaulted at my place of work.
Wow.
Then you finish that one, then you come back home to family, and they're treating you a certain, you can't get peace. I was losing weight. So I was like, you know what? After I finish so take my salary from this month, I'm just going to move. But then there comes the spiritual aspect of it. I actually did pray about it, and I said, see, God, if I'm meant to be in this Lagos, you're going to just, do something for me. And then came reality TV, and boom, that was how.
Oh my God,
I
same.
got saved. That was
Imagine.
I was asking downstairs, you know, say same.
You see?
Same, but you had the opportunity to tell us what happened to you. Stop that.
But I did. There are many things I can't get into all of it.
Right.
Yes.
So that's it. There are a lot, like he has said, you see, there are a lot of challenges that people decide to not talk about, and that's why you have that moment when, right, we're just gonna help you say it, let it out your chest, because a lot of things are going on with us as people, and it's okay for you to feel a certain way, and it's okay for you to talk about how you feel. Which brings us to the next thing, guys, the emotional aspect of leaving. It's okay for you to decide to move. It's okay for you to physically move. But what they do not tell you is that as you are moving physically, your emotions are also going to move.
Sure.
You might have a babe in Abia. How do you leave her? You might have there are a lot of things. So I'm just going to allow Ernest to kickstart that, the emotional aspect of moving.
Well, that's a huge one, because pretty much your body is easy to move your body, but you see your mind, when your mind is structured around something or in a particular place, it will be very, very hard for you to move. You have to come to a conscious decision making where you tell yourself that, see, this is a life and death thing. Like I have to, I have to do this. I have to move. And when you it's not going to be easy. Trust me. Even if you have relations or you have people who they are there, standby 247, they have everything you need, for yourself personally, there's what you need that they can't provide for you. You get? Like there's something you need. There's a need. It doesn't have to be material things. There's a need, For instance, if you're maybe in a relationship with someone, and then you have to make that major move, so it's a whole lot. Before you take that decision, man, you go think and well.
Think about it.
Like you will legit
but then you
think
need to
about it.
But
you do. So it's not easy at all. It's not easy, trust me.
Which is why some relationships don't work, because they are for a certain place in your life, and when you have to move, you have to move.
No, so there's how you
have to let it go.
Like this. The way he said that's why there's some relation. It's as if
No.
the way he said it's like there's some relation. There's how you gaze up like this.
No,
and as if you are remembering something.
It's true. Now there are some people in your life that are for a season, and some people that are there for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So
True.
the issue that I had to learn to overcome is learning who is what, and not being attached.
True.
Because there are some people in my life that have been great for a season, and I had to let them go. And sometime in the future, we came back again.
Come back. That's it.
And life it's kind of like a Rubik's Cube. So sometimes
of course.
Yeah, and then ultimately to form the way it needs to form.
Yeah.
But just one thing I had to learn to do is let go, which is very hard for me.
True.
Because I don't attach myself easily, but then once I do, I have attachments / abandonment issues. So like I can't let go. Like I had an ex that I was stuck on for 2 years.
Wow.
After we broke up.
Wow.
Even that 2 years, it's still doing me. But like, because it happened in such a place where I was not expecting it, and she became standard by which I judged
Yeah.
everybody else. And that was unhealthy. Beautiful as that was,
it's a problem.
you need to learn to, okay, yeah, it didn't work out. And just...
You just have to move. Well, I totally understand that. I've had my own fair share of emotional movement as well. Even starting from when I had to move from Lagos. I had a very pretty boyfriend in my JS3. Like,
Yeah.
I was crying and all. Like, I felt like a widow. Like, they've taken my husband.
Can you
and I had to
imagine?
move. But like, at the same time, we have to also learn that you have to just keep looking at the bigger picture, because that's what limits a lot of people. And that's why some people know that this is the time for me to make this move, but because they are scared of
the
unknown and the things that they are going to leave behind and all of that, and that just makes you stagnant. Putting relationship in cut, sometimes you have to leave, you have to relocate, you have to move from one relationship to another, else you might be settling for minimum, for less.
And you'll be full of resentment down the line. You'll be upset.
Exactly.
That's why you have to let it go.
You just have to let it go. So we're just going to round this up, and we've been able to, as a team here in the studio, as friends to you, we've been able to break down in our own short time relocation as we could. Remember the topic, that moment when I made that move, and not restricting it to physical alone but emotional. We've been able to break that down with personal experiences, physical movements, emotional movements, the downsides, the later benefits, which we've also said there might be a bigger picture waiting for you. So just to finish it all up, our esteemed guests, I just want them to just say one or two things. I know we've said a lot, but just to explain why you really need to make that move, just in case you're skeptical about it.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. I hope this makes sense. Okay. I feel like the world is changing in front of us. And before, our parents and our grandparents, they used to have like lifelong careers. You do one job for your entire life. And it was like that for their grandparents, and they were in the farm for their whole life and stuff like that. But times are different now. We are redefining a lot of things, some good and some bad. And I think now a lot of people are uncertain, and you will never know unless you try. You will never know unless you try. And always listen to your spirit, because it's God telling you. At some point you'll get to the promised land, but sometimes you're having and you have to go on a journey before you get there. So know when it's time to move, and trust that you're going to be okay, because if I've not died, you'll be all right.
So
nice one, Jarina. So one thing I'm going to say is, as a Christian, as a believer, I will come from that point of view where you don't take certain decisions except you have prayed. Pray about it. Ask God for guidance. Ask the Holy Spirit to lead you. He said He will direct our path, right? Ask Him. Pray about it. Talk to God about it. He will show you what to. It's very, very simple.
It is.
It's very, very simple. When you ask, you see the path it will just be laid out for you like this.
So you've heard from our esteemed guests, and I'm just going to close by using the slogan of a popular fashion brand: just do it. Stop thinking about it. Stop worrying about it. No, it's okay to worry. It's fine. It's part of that, makes you human, right? But don't think much about it. Just do it. Okay. I was telling them of somebody that came, I want to study law, but I'm old. And I said, you're 50, right? But in the next 5 years, you'll be 55, regardless whether or not you study law or not, you keep aging. So why not do it now? So that's the same thing we're telling you at home. If you're watching, make sure you do it. Take that risk, else you would never really know. You are going to, one thing that is sure, the only thing that is sure is the point you are at. You're not sure about the next point. So no matter what it is, just do it. And I remain Akuna, and my wonderful guests, NONZO BASSEY and TOCHI ERNEST. And we're saying goodbye. We hope you had the lovely one with us on that moment when. See you same time next time. Bye.